Drifting, the art of driving sideways. A technique that combines mastery of handling and style, and is one of the coolest things to pull off in racing games. While many games incorporate drifting as an advanced form of steering, there's a subset within the genre that make it the primary gameplay mechanic, like Inertial Drift by Level 91 Entertainment. Inertial Drift offers an arcade racing experience like no other with a unique approach to drifting, both through its controls and cars, and one that makes navigating every turn extremely satisfying. So with introductions out of the way, this is Inertial Drift, a game of learning curves. Inertial Drift is all about drifting through miles of winding sunset and moonlit roads with a roster of uniquely tuned cars to master. What sets this game apart from practically any other in the genre is its independent steering and drifting controls. Unlike most games that map drifting to a button or alternating between hitting the brakes and gas, Inertial Drift ties it to the right analog stick found on any modern controller, making this a twin-stick racing game. Drifting is more of a necessity than a suggestion, as the steering angle you get with the left stick alone is very subtle and won't let you take most turns. Steering acts as more of a positioning aid when drifting with the right stick to navigate turns. This control setup takes some getting used to, but an observation I made helped me wrap my head around how both sticks work together. The left stick for steering slightly adjusts the front wheels, and the right stick for drifting drastically swings the rear wheels around. Varying levels of letting on and off the gas and brakes add further precision to your drift angle and speed, and is dependent on your choice of car. While I can say that learning how to drift becomes easier over time, it will take some honest practice and patience to finish a race without eating the wall. But when you've got everything figured out, that's when the real fun begins. The game's tracks take place across 5 locations, featuring sunset mountain ridges, nighttime neon cities, and moonlit forests. Each environment includes multiple track variations that are either sprints from point A to B, or lap-based circuits, in both forward and reverse directions. Every course is filled with turns ranging from simple curves, to winding chicanes, hairpins, sharp 90-degree corners, and 360-degree spirals. There are a few sections that can be a bit difficult to navigate on reaction, so track memorization is a must. While the turns may be intimidating, thankfully the background scenery is not. Quite the opposite, in fact. The open roads and evening setting provide a sense of tranquility, even on the toughest courses. If there's another part of this game that's just as intricate as its controls, then it would be its cars. Each street machine is truly one of a kind, and a puzzle of sorts when it comes to figuring out how to get them drifting properly. Some of the starter cars keep things simple, where you can hold down the gas while flicking the right stick to initiate a drift, and hitting the brakes will make the turn sharper. Others are a bit more involved, where drifting involves letting off the gas to get the angle started, drift with the right stick to start sliding, and getting back on the gas to accelerate through the turn, tapping the brake to help you straighten out once you're clear. Each car is also categorized by class, with Class C cars being slower but easier to handle when drifting, and Class A being the fastest and most difficult to drive effectively. What's equally unique about every car are their stylish designs, taking cues from 90s sports cars with some additional aesthetic flair, and come with a selection of paint jobs. You also aren't just choosing a car, but the driver as well, but I'll speak more on the characters in a bit. If unique style is the common thread throughout this game, then it continues through its presentation. The environments and cars use a 90s inspired color palette, and the graphics are in a cel-shaded art style, in a similar vein as Auto Modelista. The high and consistent frame rate, combined with a subtle motion blur effect and wind trails, give you the sense of high speeds as you breeze through the scenery. I really wish there was a replay mode that lets you see how cool and gorgeous this game looks from different camera angles. Adding to this game's balance of visual serenity and intense racing are a soundtrack with fast-paced, chill beats that are pleasant to listen to and help keep you in the zone, very similar to the songs found in Ridge Racer Type 4. The revving noises of car engines as they accelerate, and the squeal of tires when drifting are also a perfect fit, making drifting without losing speed sound as cool as it looks. For all the references this game makes to a certain anime about drifting, which is also infamous for its use of Eurobeat music, that quality didn't carry over here. That's just an observation though, not a criticism. But I feel like it would be a missed opportunity to talk about a game like this and not include at least a little bit of Eurobeat, so if you would humor me for a moment. Upon starting the game for the first time, you'll want to check out the tutorial to get an explanation and feel for how the drifting controls work. From there, head into story mode, which has you follow a group of 4 friends as they drift their way around the game's 5 locations in preparation for the Summer Grand Prix, each with their own motivations, driver encounters, and various race types or events to compete in. The character selection is ordered by their car's ease of use, and acts as a difficulty level from easy to expert. Before you start any events, you'll always have the option to practice the route with your car's intricacies. There's the standard race, which is all about making it to the finish line first. One important thing to mention is that while racing against other drivers, cars face through each other and don't collide, so focus on driving your line instead of cutting off someone else's. Depending on who you're racing, your opponent may appear to be unbeatable at first, but their cars have disadvantages and will make mistakes, so it's a matter of driving the best you can until their weaknesses are revealed to overtake them. Time trials are all about getting the fastest lap time to beat records. On lap-based circuit tracks, the race begins with a rolling start at your car's maximum speed, so you have a chance to finish the event in 1 lap. Ghost battles let you race alongside another driver's best time on a given track to study their line during a race. Ghosts leave behind trails wherever they drift and brake, which may also help you figure out how to get through tricky sections. Duels work like races, but are about maintaining a lead to earn points, and the count stops whenever the opponent catches up and overtakes. The first to 1,000 points, or the most after 3 laps, is the winner. Style runs are about earning points by chaining together drifts, with more points awarded for tight drift angles and keeping little distance away from walls. Quick, light scrapes against walls also earn points, but any hard crashes will break the combo. Endurance runs are checkpoint-based races, where you drive as long as you can before time runs out, extending your time by passing through checkpoints. Most events have score goals to meet, and on the first 3 difficulty levels, earning gold medals aren't required to keep the story going. You can always come back to them to get better scores, maybe even some platinum medals on the events you're especially good at. Along the way, your friends and fellow drivers will engage in helpful conversations about how your car drives and drifts, so if you're having trouble figuring out what makes your car tick, their advice may be useful. For the most part, they're also quite the encouraging bunch, complimenting you on making it through difficult areas of a track, but also urging you to shake off any mistakes you make and see a race through to the end. Finishing events where you meet new characters will open new events in challenge mode, where you'll have a chance to unlock their cars, so it's worth giving all 4 stories a shot. Challenge mode is where you drive a new car in a single event to beat the given clear conditions before it's yours. Completing challenges will require you to figure out how the car works best, acting as self-taught tutorials. When you want to just take any of your cars out for a spin, there's always arcade mode, which lets you race with your choice of car, track, and event. This is also where you can experience the precision event, where you drive through lines of cones on the track to earn points, meaning the angle and timing of your drifts are the focus. If you want to have some fun racing with another friend, there's always local split screen. As for online play, while there is 1v1 racing, the real competition lies in online leaderboards for the best race times or scores within each car class. When you're ready to prove your drifting mastery, take on the Grand Prix mode, which is a gauntlet of 5 challenges tailored to each car with only 3 retries to complete them all. Otherwise, you'll have to start over. Finishing these challenges will require that you know exactly when you need to drift and how soon to readjust to keep your speed up, as any wasted time can be the difference between a clear or retry. Regardless of which car you're able to pull it off with, if you can complete a Grand Prix, give yourself some props. You've earned it, Drift Master. Inertial Drift can be considered an acquired taste. The twin-stick drifting controls that work differently for every car may not make it as much of a pickup and play title, but I encourage you to stick with it through the acclimation period. Because if you're willing to put a little time in, you'll find an enjoyable arcade racer unlike anything else, with plenty to enjoy and master as you slide with style. As always, this has been fun, and I'm already looking forward to covering another amazing racing game. So I hope you'll check out what I've got in store for next time, and thank you for watching.